So let me just give you an example of the beginning of this alliance that we created with Cisco. It started with our frustration at the academy that the school systems were having so much difficulty reforming themselves and getting better teachers. We were just worrying right now, in the beginning, 3 years ago, about New York City. And the problem is we have the tale of two cities here. It's like a Charles Dickens novel, because we have the most brilliant and brightest in the best schools, and we have the most underserved schools in the roughest neighborhoods with very, very bad teaching and systems. So our problem was, a lot of people felt good about having science fairs and getting the most brilliant kids together and having the 55 best schools come together, and it looked like a very diverse community. And the truth was, it was leaving out hundreds of thousands of students in the worst neighborhoods. So we said, what can we do that would be transformational, that doesn't depend on the school system changing itself? And because we're the only academy that's not an honorary old man's club, we have 8,000 PhD student and postdoc members. And we thought, problem number one, these kids aren't inspired. They're bored with their teachers, if the teacher even understands the science that they should be learning. What if we could have young scientists go in and volunteer to be a role model and do hands-on science with these kids? So we started a test in our city, and it's been sensationally successful. The test is kind of simple, and you can get details as you need if you need more details from our team that are here. But the concept was, we have a contest to PhD students who would like to give back and like the experience of learning to talk, which is very important in our world, to a kid, which means also to general audience, about their science. And we would train them for a day on how to do maybe robotics, maybe ecology, maybe genomics. For who? For middle school kids that need to be inspired when they're 12 and 13. They would go in for an hour or two a week for a semester. They would be twinned with the after-school people that handled the kids, who normally could only do sports and music, and now they could do science and math in those after-school programs. We wouldn't even worry about the school system. And the result is that, and just to give you kind of a visual, our wonderful Megan Groom, Dr. Megan Groom, who's here, and you could talk to her, who runs the program, would go in with a piece of paper and a pen and say, draw me a scientist. And the kids, every time you could see these drawings, of course the hair is standing up on end, there are pocket protectors, maybe there's a little beaker here. It was Albert Einstein, a crazy scientist. And then at the end of the semester, she'd do the same thing and say, draw me a scientist. And what would they do? They would either draw their mentor, a young guy or a girl, or they draw themselves. It was a transformational experience for them.
And then one of the really important goals under the power of SUNY is what we call sealing the leaks in the education pipeline. And I think this concept has a degree of universality, because in every state and in every country, the goal is for really young learners to come to that first school experience, be it kindergarten or first grade, what we call ready to learn. And in this country, and in fact in many countries around the world, sometimes less than 50% of the young children who even come to kindergarten come underprepared. And we wonder why we're constantly playing catch-up when we've missed this early childhood opportunity. And actually, I'm going to connect this to STEM and to Cisco in a minute. So as a student progresses, he or she gets measured in terms of 3rd and 4th grade competence in language arts or in math and computation skills. We do it again in this country in the 8th grade. We hope that all these students will graduate from high school, but about 30% of all the kids who enter high school fail to graduate from high school. So by the time you get to a 2 or 4 year degree, we're looking at less than 20% of the population who actually started high school making it to the 2 or 4 year degree finish line. And these statistics are exacerbated in the STEM fields, in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The statistics are diminished incredibly. So we just don't have this STEM pipeline. But if we are able, thanks to the partnership between SUNY and the New York Academy of Sciences, if we are able to overlay on this pipeline from what we call a cradle to career, a commitment to STEM, we have half a chance of having the STEM graduates we need to fill this massive number of jobs that are crying out for STEM graduates. So partnering up with the New York Academy and now with Cisco, we think that this STEM mentoring program is one of the big answers to our dilemma. This moment in time finds us talking about a concept that wasn't even on our radar just a few years ago, the flipped classroom, where students have a lot of opportunity to absorb content from the Internet of everything. They bring that content to the classroom, whether it's a physical classroom or a virtual classroom, and the instructor becomes the guide, the coach, the mentor. So even our graduate students starting to mentor are learning how to be this new kind of instructor. What we are hoping to prepare teachers to better do, and of course we're hoping to see this in more of our college classrooms with our professors. So it's the flipped classroom, it's getting the content before you enter the classroom, it's using the Internet of everything to provide multiple experiences, exchanges, textbooks, peer groups, all the things that the Internet of everything can bring to us.